What's up, it's George the Fragrance Press, and I think that one of the main reasons why this tag was so popular and so successful last year, not just as a tag but also as kind of a topic amongst the fragrance community, is that when you're a collector, and not just of fragrance, but when you're a collector of anything, there can be a moment, or a couple of moments per year, where you look at your collection and you're like, oh my god, what have I done? The main reason, of course, is that with many things in life, you're building, and you're building something slowly from the ground up. I cannot remember the last time I even had as little as 10 fragrances in my collection. I now have up towards about 200 fragrances. Now that didn't happen overnight. That was, of course, a very slow, gradual process that has lasted nearly a decade. And so every now and then, as a collector, you do look and you think, oh my goodness, what have I done? Is this the right thing? Should I have all of these things? Should I have all the fragrances? And the answer is, yeah, you should. But originally when I thought about doing this a couple of weeks ago, I thought, you know, whatever, it'll be pretty straightforward, it'll be easy, it's a top 10, no bother. But the more I thought about it, the more challenging this list was. And I'm going to be real with you, I think that to date, I've been doing this quite a while now, this has been one of the hardest, if not the hardest, kind of list video that I've ever done. So let's just jump right into it. Number 10. Number 10 is from the House of Tom Ford. This is Noir Man EDT. Now what I get from this, and why I would absolutely have to have this in my collection, designer-wise, is it is just filled with mystery. This is an incredibly mysterious and provocative fragrance to me, always has been. I grew up in the really rural countryside of Scotland, and if some of you know my more cinematic work with these fragrance reviews, you know that I love atmosphere. I'm very, very influenced by atmosphere, and this fragrance has just got this incredible atmosphere filled with mystique and uncertainty and passion. It's wild. It's a wild, wild fragrance. And I'd say that the best thing that I could give to you there is when I was growing up in Scotland, autumn, winter time, as we're coming up to right now, you'd see the glens and you'd see the fields on an incredibly misty, foggy day, and it just was incredible. And you could think to yourself, what's out there? You know, who's out there? And this fragrance creates that aura around it, which is incredible. So for you, if you want something that can instantly give you a mystique about you, give you a maturity about you, then this is completely for you. I think that for a younger crowd, this is not going to work out as much. But if you're an older gentleman, this is something you definitely want to get into. So number 9 is from Salvatore Ferragamo. This is Uomo. This fragrance will always have my respect because this is one of the only 2 fragrances that I've actually bought out of being traffic stopped. I don't buy fragrances when I'm being traffic stopped. You know, I think one of the main reasons is because I used to traffic stop myself. And as we, the English, say, you can't bullshit a bullshitter, right? So you know, I've got that kind of vibe, but I remember spraying this on a test strip. I went over to a friend, started talking to them. I was just kind of lingering this in the air. And then suddenly the smell comes about and I'm like, oh my god, what the hell is that? That's amazing. It's got this chocolatey, woody kind of thing. It smells like a dessert, but with a little bit of musk and a little bit of wood. I was like, what the hell? Oh my god, it's this. And I bought it. Now, I don't buy fragrances usually right then and there. And I didn't need a second opinion, didn't need a third opinion, didn't watch any reviews, didn't read any Fragrantica articles, didn't get any samples. I bought it because I knew in that moment I bloody wanted this. And yeah, it's just incredible. If you're coming into autumn now and you just genuinely are looking for a great, everyday, casual, sweet, kind of chocolatey, gourmand, a reasonable designer price that's going to get you a good amount of attention and just feels quite tasty, quite delicious, and feels pleasant, and just has a sort of an it factor, then this could be for you. Number 8, I'm trying to keep all this kind of quick and concise, but I could talk about a lot of these fragrances all day long, so I'll just try and keep it brief. Hugo Boss Bottled Oud. One of the best designer flankers of all time, probably. I've said this a million times, but one of the reasons why I love it, or if not, well, one of the reasons that I love it is it takes the Hugo Boss Bottled DNA and then it melds it with Oud as if they were starstruck lovers that were meant to be together from the very beginning. Like fate brought them together and made this beautiful fragrance. This is for people who want autumn in a bottle on a designer oud level. This has got notes of apple pie and well, it's got apple and cinnamon, but to me, that's kind of like an apple pie kind of smell. And with that darker kind of quite clean oud, but meshed in with everything else. But there's a real edge to it, and there's a real earthiness under there with a lot of sweeter elements. It's fantastic, to be completely honest. And so if you're wanting a great autumn fragrance with a little bit of a grit and quite a healthy punch to it, totally go for this. It's one of the best things that Hugo Boss has ever released in their whole catalogue. Number 7, I think this is a bit bloody cheeky putting on this list because you probably won't be able to find it. And I'm very sorry, but hands down, I would have to have this. This is Ultra Zest by Thierry Mugler. Another home run, right? When I saw this in the press releases back in the day, I thought, Thierry Mugler, what are you doing? This looks like a prop from the Teletubbies or Peppa Pig. What are you thinking? But I smelt it and amazing, and I'll tell you why. You've got that beautiful citrus, so actually kind of similar to the citrus that's in Clinique Happy. That's the closest thing I could relate this to. But it uses the Angel and Angel Men DNA to, underneath it, have this kind of like warm, bakery, cookie dough like effect, right? Like it's an orangey, citrusy, warm dessert, and that's just mind-blowing. And on the skin, this is absolutely devastating. It's unbelievable. It is one of the greatest Angel Men flankers, and it's probably one of the most unlikely amazing Angel Men flankers. If you can find this and you're wanting something that has a nice orange citrus but combats the colder elements of the harsher days in spring, and especially in early spring, this is your man, right? I'm very sad, I'm very upset, I'm nearly running out of this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to have a sort of an existential crisis when I run out of this, because this is the bomb. It's fantastic, it's amazing. So there you have it. Let's move on to number 6. So on to number 6 is from the House of Rochas, or Rochas. It's Rochas Man. I've really just kind of fallen back in love with this. I used to have this many years ago. I really love it because, I don't know, it's just that lavender coffee smell just is so uplifting and so ethereally lovely, and it's just nice to wear, and it's just bloody good. You know, sometimes with fragrances it's hard to explain. It's just like, it's just bloody good. This does get a decent amount of attention, and yeah, something that has a lovely sort of floaty kind of interplay between something as light yet as earthy as lavender with something that is sweet and kind of chocolatey as coffee, and you take the lighter, fluffier notes and fluffier kind of moments of those two things and just put them into one, and with a good bit vanilla, just, you know, just in case, then you've got Rochas Man, and I absolutely love it. Number 5. Look, I don't want to hear anything. I don't care. There are some people who will look at this and just be like, dude, are you kidding me right now? No, I'm not kidding. I wore this a lot in high school. It reminds me of good times, and it's still great. It's got this citrusy spice that's really sweet and really fun and really young and enjoyable, and has that kind of like signature little aquatic kind of thing, that kind of synthetic aquatic that Tommy Hilfiger has a lot in their fragrances. But I still dig it. I still think it's fantastic, and I would not I'd be very upset if this was suddenly taken away. Number 5 is from the House of Prada. This is Prada Amber Pour Homme. There's a lot of fingerprints on this bottle. Deal with it. I get a lot of complaints. Why don't you polish your bottles? Because I use my bottles, because I'm a fragrance user, because I'm a fragrance collector, and I touch them and I put them on. That's why. They don't just sit on a shelf, they get used, alright? So, deal with it. I think that I would have to have this because it's just so damn good and it's just so damn versatile. This is quite a recent acquisition for me. I've only had this about 7 or 8 months, but the amount that I've been able to use it, the amount of, you can see just here, the amount of opportunities that this has given me to just wear it. And I think that it's I really like Prada as a brand. I think that they're, well, let me say this. The Italian philosophy of making fragrance is, and I've said this a couple of times recently, the cleaner the man is, the sexier the man is. That's kind of how they roll. And what Prada did, which is an Italian brand, they're actually from Milan, is they went, okay, well, we'll take that, but instead of the usual way of expressing that, which is, you know, Acqua di Parma, Colonia, Neroli, just throw as much Neroli in there, throw as much citrus in there, and it smells as though you're clean and refreshed. We're gonna go the route of soap, like soapy irises, a lot of different ways of creating a kind of a bubble bath in kind of a scent. But this is the most balanced out of all of them. I think that Prada L'Homme is going a little bit too in the remit of like matey bubble bath for me. I mean, I still like it, but this has got that soapy quality that you can wear this pretty much anytime, and it just smells so damn good. One of the greatest designer dry downs. Let me say that again. One of the greatest designer dry downs you will ever experience, because the opening is like you've just rubbed on a bar of soap with a few darker elements, but then it just gets sexier and sexier and sexier, and it just works with your skin, and it's just fantastic. It's absolutely phenomenal. So we get to my top 3 now, and I'm just going to say this very quickly. These 3 fragrances, you know, if I got burgled this evening and these 3 fragrances disappeared, these would be the ones that I'd be the most disappointed about and the most sad about, and I would immediately just have to go out the next day and get them. That's how strongly I feel about these fragrances. Number 3, I'm from Scotland. Number 3 is, well, listen, like I said, I'm from Scotland. I have a big connection with that part of the world, and I can be a fan of whiskey, and single malt whiskey. Yes, you know what's coming up. It's Angel Men, Terry Muller's, Pure Malts. You know, I mentioned this in my How I Started video recently. This had quite a profound effect on me. Seriously, you know, there are some fragrances in my collection where I can smell them and I just get so, you can get emotional. You know, if you're this far deep into the ocean with this, you know, it's become part of your life. You know, it's a lifestyle, and because your nose and your olfactory system is incredibly sensitive, you know, I smell this, you know, sometimes this could bring me to tears because the amount of memories and emotions that I've had with this fragrance is a huge amount. Great going out in colder weather fragrance. If you're going to things like events or fun fairs, I know that's very weirdly specific, but things like that, you know, you're going out and you're doing things in the cold, and there's like outdoor events in the wintertime. You know, this is a fragrance that does really well when it has oxygen on it and people can, it's allowed to breathe in colder air. Kind of like today actually, it's a bit chilly outside, it's got a bit of a brisk wind. That's when this is just like unbelievable. It reminds me also of Edinburgh, and I am planning on doing a review of this in Edinburgh city centre as soon as possible. Number 2 is from the House of Christian Dior. This is Dior Homme. Man, this is, like, it's really weird to explain this fragrance and the connection that I have with it, right? Like, I'm gonna get a bit giddy, right? Because I actually think about this fragrance a lot. think about this fragrance a tremendous amount because it's always kind of come back to me. I never really wanted this fragrance. I never like when I first smelt it, I thought, give me a break. That is a lipstick makeup bag, right? And not that I go around trying to smell what lipstick and makeup bags smell like, but I just thought, no, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. But I somehow got a sample of it. And I wore it and I was like, okay, that's not bad. And I was like, no, this isn't what I'm about. Then I got a 50ml of it. And I was like, okay, once I use this 50ml, I'm done. And then suddenly, one day, Dave messages me and he says, oh, I'm selling some fragrances and there's 100ml L'Oréal. And I'm like, I want that. Why do I want that? And the thing is that I don't want to spoil anything, but this gets me a lot of compliments and it gets me a tremendous amount of attention because I think that in some cases fragrances choose you rather than you choose them. And I think that this fragrance, because of its kind of like sensitive kind of femininity and the classiness and the old school elements of it, and the fact that it's a bit sort of wacky yet quite refined, I think that it's kind of basically my personality in a bottle. And it's one of my favourite fragrance finds of all time because it just, when I put this on, it just seems to reflect different facets of my personality. It just seems to work with me, and that's when you know that this is genuinely quite an art form. When you've got fragrances that seem to have to interconnect with who you are as a person. And because of that, I think about this fragrance quite a bit. And I'm glad I have it. I don't think I can get rid of it. I think that, honestly, if I did get rid of it, or if it did get stolen and I didn't buy it, I think that it would find its way back to me. Somebody would just randomly gift it to me or something. It's weird. I have an interesting partnership with this fragrance. So, and my number one, my favourite designer of all time, I think now, you've noticed that there isn't Lamal and there isn't 1 Million, and I could live without them. I think that they're brilliant and they're great, but I could live without them. You know, I've got a lot of different things, and even in this list, where you know, if I wanted to go out partying, I wouldn't need to wear 1 Million. I'd wear Angel Menthol, all that kind of stuff. But my favourite designer, guess what it is? Guess what it is? Go on. It is Chanel's Allure Homme Sport. Just brilliant. I actually saw somebody say in my top 10 summer that this was a synthetic mess. Grow up. Grow up. Come on. It's not. It's one of the greatest of all time. It's a classic. It's amazing. I can't even tell you. I'm going to have to review this next year and just give you my full thoughts because, you know, I don't even know how long this video is now, and I have been told recently that there's going to be a lot of fans of Jeremy Fragrance coming onto this, and, well, they're probably turned off by now and gone, who is this fucking weirdo? I'm the Fragrance Press, and I hope that you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've got the information. Listen, if you just want something that's amazing and brilliant, and you want compliments, and you just want one of the greatest fragrances that have ever been created on this planet, just buy Allure Homme Sport. There's my parting gift to you. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm the Fragrance Press. Thanks for sticking around. I'll see you tomorrow. Cheers.